What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Forest of Legend, Part 5. Yeah, it's Part 5 already, damn. And yeah, you will be joining me in the forest walk again. And this time I thought, like, hey, what if we make Forest of Legend a little bit more subject specific after this? Because till now, it's just been like, yeah, we're doing everything unedited and just saying basically what's on my mind. But yeah, I thought like let's gather a few subjects that we can talk about and then go from there. So the three subjects are routines, music, and alcohol consumption. Those are the three that I thought would be pretty interesting to tackle. Came up with them spontaneously, by the way, like 10 minutes ago or something. So this is going to be a little bit of a, what do you call it, like a freestyle video. So yeah, let's start off with our first topic, which would be routines. And with routines, I think I started, like the first mandatory routine in life is called school. I'm talking about like voluntary routines. One of them, yeah, one of my first ones was football, actually, or soccer, what you call it in English. I believe it wasn't like what, when I was like 5 years old in Romania, something like that. And I do not remember the times, but it was like once or twice a week, and I basically went there every single week for a year. And after that year, I was like, yeah, I don't think this is really for me. So basically, I quit, and that's about it. But the routine that is constant up until today is Kung Fu. And the thing is, some of the people always tell me that, like, oh, you have the discipline of a lion. Oh, you have got so much discipline. No, I don't have discipline, to be honest. Actually, not all that disciplined. I just know how to make things very effortless. Because I'm not like, oh, but I don't really want to go. But I must go. No, that would require discipline, certainly. But I'm like, okay, it's time, let's go. So once you integrate things into your routine like that, that's the key to remaining consistent. And I think a routine is very important, no matter what person you are. You can vary how much or how severe a routine should be. I think severe is the wrong word here. Gradual, maybe, I think is better. You can say like, okay, I have a few routines, but mostly my time is spare, and I can do whatever I want with it. Or you can go like full military routine, like by the minute you go to stop activity X, move on to activity Y. I think that a lot of people fall into the first category. That's simply because they're like, okay, I've got what I need to do. Basically, like they get a habit tracker and they're like, okay, let's go with freaking meditation and working out and stuff like that. So that's what they do. And the thing is, that works completely fine for most people. And honestly, I do not want to debate that, because that has worked pretty well for me as well. The thing is, that only discusses the what you need to do. So when you have the habit tracker, you're like, okay, this is what I need to do now. Good stuff. And by the end of the day, you can tick off all the boxes and then you're done. Cool, that's fine. But you can make it a lot more concrete, which is when you do it. And that's where the military style routine comes in. This is the other extreme. These two variables, if you've got them in, and if you're like a very, very prone to procrastinating type of person, I think a military style routine is absolutely vital. And it will probably cure your procrastination. Because if you just sit there and think like, oh, but I gotta start, but I'm not gonna start. Who's getting anywhere with that? If you instead make a routine for today, I'm gonna wake up at, let's say, 7 a.m. I'm gonna go on a walk for 30 minutes. I'm gonna get home, I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna eat breakfast, I'm gonna read a book. There's your procrastination gone. At least a part of it. Because that is probably the simplest fix. And honestly, I think a lot of people can make it last. There might be a few more like smaller, more intricate details for like person-specific problems. But I don't really see like too much of a problem in that. And yeah, I think that's the power of routines. And that's the one that I've started to try out. Started to try out means yesterday. Downloaded myself Notion. Went to Google Calendar and made a military style routine. And the thing is, I tried this once before. I don't know, like 4 months ago, 3 months ago, something along those lines. And I did not do well. I do not know what it is or what it was, but I just did not do well. And before we keep going, I want to show you something. Look at this. I hope the camera is registering that. Let's go look at the sunrise. Hopefully I won't get like any stupid ass bugs stuck on my pants because I've got shorts on only. So I just hope for the best. Okay, here we go. Jeez, look at that. There's the sun. Let's go on the field. Look at this. Hold up, there you go. And there's the sun. Hold up, there he is. I don't think it's too bright on the screen. So if I've just given you eye cancer, I'm very sorry. If not, then my predictions were correct. And yeah, I think like this stuff right here, this is like one of the beauties of walking out in the morning when the sun is coming up like that. It's an absolute treat, like damn. Especially with a nice view of the field like that. Anyway, back on topic with the routines. I went on this, I tried it out, and the thing is, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think the problem was really this one thing. And it's basically that I put too much in there. And it kind of looked overwhelming because the thing is, at school, I have different types of weeks. And each week is like, I have got four days where I have to stay, like, I believe, till almost 4 p.m. Or at least I get home at almost 4 p.m. More like 15:30. And there are some days where I have to just stay till 1 p.m. and I'm home like 1 p.m. 15. And on one week, it was like, okay, we've got 4 days of staying till 3 p.m. and 1 day that's short. And on the other week, it was 2 days of staying long and 3 days of staying short. So I had to adapt the routine. And I think that really caused my brain to like kind of shut off simply because there was just way too much going on in the calendar. And I've tried to simplify it now. There's only one column per day. Or one column at a specific time because I made it in like 2 different colors at the beginning. Where I was like, okay, so this is week 1, this is what I'm gonna do then. Okay, but this is week 2 and this is what I'm gonna do then. And that really just, I think it overwhelmed me and I was like, yeah, let's not do this. I don't really know, bro. This is what we saw a rabbit last time. I don't know which episode it was. I think it was like 2 or 3. More like 2, I think. But I don't think we have the same luck today. I still had long hair back then. So with the routines, I think simply making the routine a lot more easy to look at and easy to understand, I think that's absolutely vital. Because if for some weird reason, like something gets interrupted, some kind of emergency happens or something, I think that is not gonna be that big of a problem because you still have like the set routine, but you can vary it up a little bit. Like if you are like half an hour late because you had to do something, then you can like maybe shorten your time with one activity, do the rest, berries, do the rest like in chronological order, and like at the end of the day, then maybe like put on like half an hour of the activity. So I don't think that should be a big problem. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that, other than one more thing which I've thought it might work, which is a time where I don't do anything specific and I can really think about what I want to do. And this is, I believe, like every day, like the last 3 to 4 hours, where I basically like told myself, okay, do whatever. So I'm free to read, I'm free to do some little bit more deep work. Probably not much more in the tank after 3 hours early in the day, but that is basically the goal. Yeah, I'm just thinking about what it was like completely. Yeah, it was something along those lines for certain. And by the way, what I said with berries, look at these guys. Well, there you go. Look at these guys. Yo, it tastes good. Here, have some, bro. But the point is, I think that downtime, like in the evening, is pretty important. Because I do not think that I can go like, okay, I'm gonna hustle through the whole day, and then I have like no time to relax at the end. Because I think that like, I wouldn't say like relax, but like kind of unwind the brain. Do something not so straining. Because I believe I have in each day 4 hours of deep work. Usually have my workouts. And that takes up like what, 7 hours of the day. And that's not exactly like easy activity, what you would call it. Because I plan on going all in, by the way. Like I'm not gonna be like, ooh, but let's make some distractions. No, I'm gonna really try and use that time as well as I can, and leave the distractions for at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I might even do some more work. Who knows? I don't really have an idea yet. I gotta try it out for a week, and then we'll see how the results go. And that's about it for now. In terms of routines, overall, I think a military style routine could benefit a lot of us. So if you want to take like an actionable step towards this, go on Google Calendar yourself and create a routine. One that's specifically suited to you. Because if you just do like one where you don't think like you can even do it, there's no real reason in doing it. Put in the activities that you think you can manage, and then after that, adjust as you need. Also started using Notion yesterday, and to be honest, I'm actually kind of a fan. I never really considered it, I do not know why, but who knows. In the next episode, I'll let you know what I think about it. So yeah, summary of routines. I think a routine is very important because it really holds you accountable and really shows you like, hey, this is when you gotta do stuff, and it does not allow any procrastination, like at all. So yeah, I think there's only benefits you can reap from a routine, other than feeling less free. If you need that freedom of like feeling of freedom, like hey, I can't work if I like set in blocks to blocks to blocks. Okay, fair enough, that's fine. But I think it should work for everyone, to be honest. And yeah, that's where it comes to an end. Next topic is music. I honestly don't know what I want to say to music, other than its benefits. I think that music is like somewhat, it like went down in terms of like what we do in our everyday lives. There's a lot of people that listen to music when they're like completely AFK, like when they're on the bus, when they're well, let me just take this thingy and put it over the other shoulder. All right, there we are, made it. And I think music is, yeah, like it kind of went under the radar, to be honest. And the thing is, I think like the music today that is being released in terms of like rap and hip hop, I don't listen to that stuff. I've got no idea what it sounds like, but I've got a pretty good idea of what it could sound like. And there's so much degeneracy going on in music that's being released today. Like hip hop and rap, there's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot about love and heartbreak, and that's probably the most explored topic in music. Let's be real. And certainly for a small group of people, that might help at the moment. But the lyrics in many songs are inherently negative. Not in terms of like criticizing something, but in terms of like worshipping something that you should not be worshipping. The most blatant example I can give is Satan worship. You don't have that much in pop music and rap and stuff. But when you look at some metal stuff, like not all metal stuff, of course, but there's like a small subgroup. In black metal and death metal, there's a lot of Satan worship going on. And while I do somewhat listen to that music, I've never really cared for the lyrics. Not that you can really understand them anyway, but I really think that the lyrical content has a very, very big influence on whatever you do. If you listen to like some really degenerate hip hop music that's about screwing with some brain dead girl or something, if you listen to that over and over and over again, I think that stuff is really getting drilled into your subconscious mind, slowly but surely. And one day you'll be like, yeah, I know the lyrics inside out. But if you really think about that for a moment, isn't that a little bit weird? Like, wouldn't you say? And I can see the argument that this can be applied to all music. I completely agree, to be completely honest. I listen to some music as well, but the lyrics are a little bit questionable. One of my favorite bands, in fact, is called Vader. Check them out if you wish. They're pretty cool in terms of musicianship. I think one of the best out there. But I think the lyrics and many of their songs are not exactly good. Simply because it's a lot about Satan. It's a lot about, like, I don't care about death. I don't really care about violence or anything. But like Satanism and stuff like that, I'm not a big proponent of that. This is what I'm looking at, by the way. These guys right here. Want to make a thumbnail again? Should have made a thumbnail of the sunset at the front there. Well, it's too late now, but anyway. Might just make a cut off the video, who knows. But yeah, that is a lot that I have to say to music in terms of its negative things. Wait, we started off with saying like it doesn't have many negatives, right? Fuck. You can tell that this was a freestyle kind of video. And also that I'm still not exactly 100% mentally sharp. But we're getting there. By the minute, I'm awakening. And yeah, That is overall, I have to say, to the bad stuff. I think the good stuff of music are really, really good. If you find some music that's got some good lyrics, in terms of like the lyrics are somewhat deep, and not in terms of like, oh, I'm 14 and this is so deep. No, but like they go a little bit more into detail. They actually like make sense and convey a good message. And I think it's very important that the music conveys like a positive message instead of a negative one, because while the negative one is certainly, how should I say this, the negative one might certainly impact some people positively. I think most of those people are just gonna go into their bad habit, for example, and do it even more. So the negative will exacerbate the negative. Trying to find the right words here. Yeah, I think that actually conveys it pretty well. So let's take the example of freaking Linkin Park and Korn. Those two bands. Listen to them for a while, and looking back, the lyrical content of both of those bands, I'm sorry, but I think it's absolute bullshit. The problem I have with those lyrical contents, if you know the bands, if you don't, then fine. But you probably know Linkin Park though. It's the fact that all of the lyrics, every single song has negative lyrics. And as I said, that stuff gets drilled into your mind. And if it's not just like one song, it's one song out of the whole discography, okay, that's completely fine. But 100% of their discographies, or more like 90% maybe, is about giving up and negative stuff. And while I can understand the fact that some people can relate to this because their lives have certainly not been as lucky as some of ours, I do not think that it's a good idea to give into that and simply to go ahead and say like, yeah, okay, I'm giving up, because you know the song, like it's called "Given Up" by Linkin Park, and Chester just singing "I've given up," and I just think like, bro, what the fuck? Why the hell would you give up and not keep fighting? Like, what the hell? I think that's a very egocentric attitude of, "Ooh, I'm gonna give up." Like, I'm sorry if I'm saying this in a condescending way, but you've got to do something about your problems if you're down that bad. And you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm giving up. Oh, well, life was so bad. Well, then do something about it, you fuck. That's all I have to say. But the positive lyrics are amazing. Positive lyrics in music in general. Metal actually has like a lot more positive lyrics than you can imagine. I like the like some of the lyrics that are like critical of society in terms of like the government and stuff, and criticizing those problems. I think that's actually pretty good. But and there are like a lot of songs out there with legit positive lyrics. And in some songs you can be like, these are some pretty cool lyrics. Like one of my favorite albums called "And Justice for All." If you know that album, you've got my respect. All of the songs except for one, which is an instrumental, have got something to criticize in terms of society, in terms of family, in terms of something. By the way, the album's by Metallica, just so that you know. And overall, I think that's all I have to say to music. I think it can be an incredibly motivating force. Like I use it basically like when I really can't wake up. I use it as my morning coffee. Basically, put in my AirPods and put in something that's got some energy. And damn, it does work. It really, really does work. Make sure to not put it too loud to like overload your brain, if you know what I mean. But it is magical in terms of like what it can accomplish. I think the best song for that, if you're into metal, is called "Forward March" by Exodus, because it's basically a song, like you can interpret it in a lot of ways, but it's basically like always going forward, never looking back, never going a step back. And I think that is a very good way to wake up. And yeah, I'm gonna have a list of little bands right now that you could check out if you're into metal, and even if you're not, go ahead. Most accessible is easily Black Sabbath, Metallica, getting a little bit more heavier, Megadeth, Testament, Vader, certainly, Death, Bolt Thrower. I think Morbid Angel is the heaviest on here. And there's some black metal, which it gets a little bit questionable with a lot of the lyrics. But you can still check out Mayhem, Dark Throne, and Burzum. Those three are pretty cool too. Also listen to non-metal stuff, by the way, like orchestra music, which is really damn cool. But that's more or less where it ends. Those two are like my main domains of music. But yeah, that's about it. All I have to say to music. Let's move on to our third topic, which is alcohol consumption. Alcohol consumption, I've honestly never understood it. I think it's just the fact that I don't like the taste. And I think that's really my own saving grace. Where I can say, this is like my superpower. I don't like alcohol. Like, I can tolerate it in terms of like bodily functions. Like, I've had some shots in the past, like it works. But I really, really do not think that alcohol, like I can't drink a beer. Beer tastes like absolute shit to me. To those people that it tastes good to, I don't think that like telling them the disadvantages of like, hey, beer is bad for you because XY. We've seen that with smoking. On each smoking packet, we've got, but like 30% of people have lung cancer that smoke. Like, yeah, those statistics, you know what I mean. Did that ever hold anyone off from smoking? No, it didn't. Because both are addictions, and you can't really break an addiction by giving the person that much more information. Sure, some basic information is good. Like, why should you stop? Well, it's not good for your health. If you can tell them that, okay, cool. If they want to know more, like, okay, but how is it not good for my health? Then you could go a little bit more into detail, sure. But for most people, there's like that small percent of people that will listen and be like, okay, you might be right. But it's really not worth it. Because the problem that arises when someone thinks that you should be stopping alcohol, this can maybe be applied to some other drugs too, but I think this might be like a alcohol only problem. The most people that go out, the most people that drink alcohol go out. They're out there on every single Friday with their friend group in friend group. There you go. That's what I wanted to convey. And it really, really damages them. Not just the alcohol, but the environment mostly. Because for those people that are sitting alone drinking alcohol, this is something else. This is a little bit more complex for them. Because those at home drinking alcohol, you can't just tell them like, hey, stop alcohol. Because they'll be like, why? It tastes good. And then you might be like, okay, but the health benefits, and they don't give a shit. They will not give a shit. Because they are aware of the negatives, but they see the positives a lot more. They're like, okay, but it helps me relax, helps me chill out. And you can't really do much against that other than say, bro, do something with your life. But to those people that are going out every single weekend, the biggest problem that they have is that that's the friend group that they have. And what does the friend group do? The friend group, it basically... Yo, I thought there was a fucking hornet behind me. Sheesh. The friend group basically goes out every single weekend. and they're getting drunk. They're like, oh yeah, we're best friends. But the thing is, take away that alcohol and see how that friendship or that social group in general deteriorates. Because the only thing keeping them together is like a common interest. That's it. There's nothing else. And that common interest is actually a very damaging one. Take away the alcohol, and as I said, it completely gets destroyed. But what if I tell you that you can find other social groups? You just have to find people that have a similar interest to you. Because you have interests. I do not care what they are, but say I do not know what they are. But you can certainly find some people in that sector, be it drawing, be it some martial art, be it, I don't know, some kind of board game. You can find people there. And that might be the thing keeping you guys together, because if you didn't have that interest, then maybe you would not interact with those people either. And that's the same thing for alcohol. If you just take away the alcohol, it's gone. And the people there are not really your friends, they're just partners in, what's it called? Partners in self-destruction. And that's basically the thing that I have with alcohol. Because all I see, not all I see, but I see a lot of people, even older than like 20, that are going out, maybe not every weekend, but like once a month, once every 2 months. And they're just out, they're just at it. They're out there, they're drinking themselves to hell. And they're like, oh, it's have fun, but I don't know, it kind of just makes me sad knowing that those people, that's what they like describe as happiness, and then on the next day, like, they're vomiting buckets and feeling like they wasted their whole life for 2 hours, 3 hours of enjoyment. I do not think that that's the way to live a life, honestly. Like, even if you drink one beer, I think you should just not drink any alcohol at all. Like, the only time that I consume alcohol is when my throat is completely fucked. And then I take like one of the, like, we have like shots that are like legit medicine. They're like 40%, almost 50% alcohol, and we're like, okay, let's just get him in here. Because you can take shots earlier in Germany here. And I definitely look like look at this. I definitely don't look like I'm underage. So yeah, that's that's basically all I have to say. I really don't think that the people have enough self-respect if they're just drinking every single weekend. And I think if you're one of them, which I really hope you're not, and I'm sorry if you are, like, I'm legit just sorry for you. That's all I have to say. Maybe you should, like, think about if that's your life standard. Going out every weekend to get drunk. And feel like a little bitch afterwards. Sorry if that came over a little bit mean, but that's honestly my own opinion. Do what you want, but yeah, that's it. So yeah, with those 3 topics, we're approaching the end of our walk anyway. Almost back in the city. Just look at this forest, bro. This forest is freaking magical. I honestly I'm just really grateful that I found this forest. Because you can just walk through here with nobody at like 7 a.m. in the morning. Have 0 interruptions. Record videos like these. Which, if you've watched so far, then damn, thank you very much. Like, I'm extremely grateful that you took the time out of your day and watched, like, what, 35 minutes of this content? Honestly, very grateful for your support, bro. And overall, this is basically it. Just gonna walk a little bit more. I don't really know. Wanted to say something. Oh yeah. The main goal right now that I really want to do is get all my thumbnails updated, because my old thumbnails, they suck quite a lot, to say the least. And in the next like 2 weeks or so, I'm going to try to replace all of the old thumbnails that I'm not good with. I'm gonna see like how can I make that thumbnail better than it used to be, because I was still getting the hang of it at the beginning. I was like, okay, let's do this. This might work. But I really did. One, I did not understand how they work, and two, I did not really. Something moving there. I didn't really understand like what to really emphasize in the thumbnail and to make it look good. And since I've been doing it a lot more, I think it's gotten better. So I'm not saying I'm good, but it's gotten better. And I think it will get better over time. So who knows? Maybe in the 3 months from now, I might be saying like, okay, time to update my old thumbnails because 3 months ago they were pretty shit. I guess we'll just see. You know what? I think I'm gonna end the video here. Don't have really anything to say. I'm just gonna go through the forest a little bit more. Thank you very much for watching. And if you've watched this far, again, I'm very grateful that you took your time out of your day. See you next time, bro. I hope I could provide some value.